talk about my setup a little bit. This tour, I've got my 8x12, 14x14, 16x16. The Tamas have been great, and I've been using the Bobingas, and they have this really low kind of fat sound. They're really low and beefy. It's kind of my first experience using Bobinga. I've usually been playing maple with their nice round tone, but these have this nice low end to them. Snare drum is 5.5 by 14 chrome over brass. Tama Star Classic. Very nice. I like that one. Cut's nice, and it has a nice pop. Yeah, side snare. I have a 12 by 6 Metalworks. It's just a steel shell, fairly inexpensive, and it does a great job for any kind of other kind of beats or whatever like that. My hi-hats have been 15-inch Sound Labs. They're Constantinople, hats, 15-inch. For my left crash is a 20-inch bounce ride. Actually, I've been using a ride cymbal for my left-handed crash. Lately, my ride cymbal has been a 22-inch K ride, just straight up ride. Enough ping in it to cut, but and enough wash, nice colorful wash going on under it, and I can crash on it really nicely too if I have to. And the bell carries through too. That's a great all-purpose ride cymbal, nice tone. My right-handed crash is a, as you can see, K Dark Crash 19. And we have the EFX, the 20-inch A Custom EFX. Nice trashy sound. Kind of has that thing going on. It's kind of China-esque, but not as harsh. So it has a nice spread to it. So I'm really digging this. Really digging that. Talk about sticks. I have been using the 5B Black. The 5Bs just feel good in my hands. They're weighted perfectly for me. They're big enough to, for kind of the loud music, for higher volume stuff. I like to let the stick work for me, and they're weighted perfectly for that. The black part is more like a shout out to Steve Gadd, because his sticks are black. It's just kind of a cool vibe, And the tips are wood. You can look at the tips and see them moving. It's just kind of a vibe thing, and I'm such a huge fan of Steve Gadd, so a little bit bigger, but very gaddy. For brushes, I've been using the Russ Millers, and these are great if you're doing kind of backbeats on them. If you're doing train beats or something, you can get that nice whip in the attack out of kind of the thicker brush side, yeah, those are the thicker ones. And these are lighter, so you can get more of a good for country, good for loud country. Real delicate, but yet they slap really good. Occasionally I use the Tallywans, the Steve Smith Tallywans. Those are nice for, louder, brushy applications for train beats. Kind of not what we do any train beats, but they're nice to have around too. In my rack, I use Ableton Live with my Mac here. I have my set list labeled on a MIDI keyboard. So this is basically our set list. And all I have to worry about, we play to a click, and all I have to really worry about is starting our first song of the set. And when I'm done with that, I can stop that with this foot switch. You can kind of see the click rolling. I can stop it with that when it gets near the end of the song, or if we get off the click, which never happens. Just teasing. It hardly ever gets off the click. Sometimes if it gets too weird with the timing and the big buildings or whatever, it just kind of gets kind of delayed a little bit, but I rarely have to shut the click off. And then after that's done, after the first song, the next song is Reality, as you can see. So I just hit the next song. And now when we get to No Shoes, it runs the click kind of in a triplet pattern because it's more of a shuffly feel. But I have samples. So I have a loop. I have this percussion loop that I built in my studio, or that I recorded in my studio, and I loop it. Actually, it's a track, it's not a loop. So there is my percussion track. That's the Ableton with the Mac and everything. Over here, lately I've been doing, there's a couple songs that we're doing that require more of the, like 808 style kick drum and kind of the rap, synthetic sounding snare drum. So I've been triggering the kick drum sound over here. Let me turn around. With this remote pedal. So I got a double pedal kind of going over there, and I'm triggering the kick drum sound over here. And just playing everything else over here. So I'm incorporated that into our show, this tour. So in the midst of this, I got to sing on some songs, okay? So in the midst of starting the song, worrying about that, I usually have my mic hanging over here, and when I go to sing backups, I kind of, grab for it and sing backups. Luckily, I'm not doing all the main backups. We leave that to Wyatt, but if they need, some thickening up of some parts, I'll join in on some of the harmonies. Today, we're in a pretty big echo box. We're in a stadium with a roof on it. So there's obviously going to be more, for lack of a better word, ambience. You might run into problems sometimes when there's guys down kind of on that T there, and they start hearing more of the front of house. You start hearing them getting a little bit behind on stuff, but you got to stick to what, you got to find the sweet spot between playing to them or somebody singing and playing to the click, So that's a challenge too. You got to make sure you're comfortable with your ears and not get too involved in what's going on in the front of the house. It's nice to hear it, when you got big, full sounding drums and your guitar is sounding amazing coming through these speakers, but you have to trust what's happening in your ear monitors. These things are, for this type of setting, is a godsend. I suppose you could put wedges up here blasting, but it would be, the Stones did it. I don't know how they did it.